shift topics a little bit. Go back to MicroStrategy again that we mentioned. Um, I identified this as something interesting and potentially it's undervalued right now. So they hold like 129,000 ish Bitcoin. The total market cap. Oh, excuse me. This is worth approximately 5.2 billion. The market cap is only 4.4 billion. So if you discount the company to nothing, meaning the company is worthless, you still have a deficit of zero point 0.8 million. The difference between the Bitcoin they own and the market cap is at 0.8 billion. It's worth noting that there is roughly 2.2 billion in debt, but in my opinion, there's a company involved too, so that should kind of about balance out. So to me, that definitely seems like it's a good time to buy it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like on paper they are literally worth more than that.
Right? Yeah, you can just literally do math. You
Yeah,
don't even have to like. There is no speculation at all here. This is just silly.
unless you like subtract out the debt. But I mean,
But that's not how you actually. That's not how you
yeah, that's not
actually.
how people do it.
That's not how you do. Like I said, if you make the. But there's a company too.
Right.
You discount the
I
company to
mean,
nothing and the debt to nothing, and then you. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, every company has debt, so that like it comes with it.
Right. Um. I feel like it's a good time to buy it, and especially in the absence of a Bitcoin spot ETF, like I mentioned before. Um, but I mean, you do have to accept there's a company there, and you have to trust them to keep doing their mission. But you do, by proxy, own some Bitcoin that way, and it's a way to get exposure in the stock market. So I kind of like it. How do you view MicroStrategy's strategy
What do you mean by their strategy?
to make cash and buy Bitcoin?
I mean, it's pretty good strategy. Um, I think it's. I mean, it's a little risky, you know.
Right? Yeah, I'm not denying that, but it gives you Bitcoin exposure. Is my point. If you
Yeah,
believe in Bitcoin, it's a good play. If you don't believe in Bitcoin, if you're Warren Buffett, you think this is ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, clearly he's bought into Bitcoin. Like he believes in it.
Yes. There is no other asset. There's only one
Yeah.
asset. I thought that was hilarious. That's like the fun. I think he's so crazy about it, but I think it. So basically, what they do is, like I said, they make whatever profit they make after expenses and everything goes into Bitcoin, and whenever they can leverage, they use leverage to buy more Bitcoin too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a Bitcoin spot ETF on steroids, really. It's like you're investing if you it's like you're investing in a company that's obsessed with Bitcoin, which is just a
I
strange
mean,
thing.
thing is, like, I mean, if Bitcoin takes off, MicroStrategy is going to do great.
If it 10x's, MicroStrategy 10x's.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So that's kind of my point. Is that it is definitely a good compromise if you don't have a Bitcoin spot ETF. If you're willing to accept the fact there is a company behind it and there's personalities there, so slightly more risky, but there's situations like this where literally you have arbitrage opportunities. To me, this is
Yeah.
arbitrage. Like it's not even like that's not going to happen in a spot ETF. That's not going to be there. So
Right. I mean, 'cause really, the value's lower because people, I guess, don't
it's not as
are
the
scared. I don't know.
it's the accounting is the problem. They're showing losses for the year, and the reason why they're showing losses is because Bitcoin's went down a good bit. Technically, they bought their Bitcoin for cheaper. They've actually made money on it. But every time the Bitcoin that they say they purchased for $50,000, so right then their purchase amount is $50,000. If it ever goes below $50,000, that's what's written down as the worth of it, and you have to count that as a loss. So if Bitcoin drops down to 30,000, and if even if it goes up to a million tomorrow, they have to say that they lost $20,000 on that particular Bitcoin because of the accounting rules and how Bitcoin is not considered. It's considered a I can't remember the name of it, some kind of asset, and that's how you have to do it because it's
Okay.
almost like it's like a asset that's like a car or something.
So is this like FEC rules?
The GAAP, generally accepted accounting rules that all, well, yeah, it is SEC rules, true. They have to use GAAP accounting. That's how the GAAP accounting works for Bitcoin currently. That's why they really want to change these rules, because it makes their company not look good. That's another reason why it's undervalued. But they're actually doing better than what they're saying.
Right.
So, but from a GAAP perspective, because people still look at Bitcoin as trash, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why people are like, because if you didn't know anything about it, you didn't know the whole Bitcoin thing, and you look at this company, you're like, this is horrible, because the Bitcoin got so destroyed. I mean,
Right.
and even if it went up to 1 million tomorrow, you still have to count it as a $20,000 loss, because at one point it was 30,000.
I see.
Makes no sense. So it does. You
I
don't.
guess they do it that way because you could have sold it, right? I'm assuming.
No, it's not because you sold it.
No, I'm saying you could have. Is that why they view it that way?
No, it's because it's a very conservative way to evaluate things. They're looking at the asset almost like a depreciating asset, like a car. Like if you on the GAAP accounting rules, you have to like, say for example, a car you bought for 50,000, 2 years later it's worth 30,000. You have to then report that as a $30,000 asset, depreciating over time.
But I mean, that's just not how it behaves.
I know the GAAP accounting rules haven't caught up yet. That's my point,
Yeah.
and that's where you classify it for some reason,
Yeah.
because they haven't fully fleshed it out yet. It's really it's a totally different thing, and they're not calculating it correctly. So that's another reason why people are. If you didn't know anything about the Bitcoin strategy, you would think this company is doing horrible, because you wouldn't have a clue. But if you read into it and actually understand it, you realize they're not doing badly. They're actually profitable. Their core company's profitable, but because of the Bitcoin thing, it's making them look not profitable.